Welcome to the People Behind Property podcast, brought to you by O'Brien Real Estate. In this series, we shine a light on the personal stories, career journeys, and expert insights shaping Australia's real estate market. Meet the agents, the industry leaders, and the voices behind the O'Brien network, because here it's personal. So let's dive into today's conversation. Today I'm joined by Desmond, CEO of Blank Financial, a very good partner of O'Brien Real Estate. Built his own business from the ground up, has come a long way, a family man, and actually does what he says he's going to do. His customer service is the best I've ever seen. I always say this, but he certainly helped me out with a couple of different loans, my daughter, my sister, a lot of my work colleagues as well. So very aware of what Bernard does in his business. So we're here to share his story today. So let's dive into our conversation. Bernard, welcome.
Thanks, Andrew. That's a very kind introduction. So really humbled with those words. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thanks for being here, mate. I thought we'd just start with your background, because you grew up in India.
Yes.
What was that like?
Yeah, sure. So backstory: born and brought up in India.
Yeah.
Oldest of the two kids. So did all of my schooling in India. Scored a job in Dubai at the age of 21.
So you left the family?
Yeah, left the family.
What did they think about that?
They were not happy, but they allowed me to do...
That's bold move.
Yeah, so they allowed me to pursue my dreams, and I think that was an eye-opener for me, leaving the comfort of your home and going to a foreign country where you don't have any support network and trying to figure out how to survive.
Yeah.
And I quickly realized home's good, when... mom's doing the cooking, cleaning, you don't have to pay any rents, bills.
Yeah.
So it really taught me a lot about life and fast-tracked my journey in the person I've become today.
Yeah.
So that was 2004. It's been a good 21 years now.
Yeah, wow.
As I look back, was there in Dubai for 10 years. I never started in lending or banking.
Yeah.
My first job was working in logistics and working in a warehouse.
Yeah, I think I've seen some photos of you.
So completely different than what I'm doing right now. But I always aspired to get better at what I was doing, and I had a love for property.
Yeah.
And when I pursued those path, I came across banking and property and mortgages. That's how I ended up in mortgages.
So were you doing, did you go from logistics in Dubai to banking over there?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So the first 3 years I worked in logistics.
Yep.
And I kept, exploring options to get out of logistics, because as much as it gave me a job and allowed me to pay the bills in Dubai, it wasn't my forever job.
Yeah.
So, I was fortunate. There were good people around me in that logistics business. And one of them, one of my managers who happened to have a liking towards me, her husband worked in banking. I knew that he worked in banking and he was quite a senior position. So I kept asking her, can you put in a word for me? Can you give me a break? So, eventually the doors opened and there was an opportunity to start as a coordinator. So, not in sales, just as a coordinator to a sales manager.
Yeah. Get into the environment.
So that was my first job as a sales coordinator, working for a sales manager of a national bank in Dubai. And that department happened to be home loans.
Yeah.
So now I was out of logistics into banking and in mortgages. And that's where I started to see, Jesus, there's a different world in sales. And, that's probably more appetizing and, aspirational than, what I was doing as a sales coordinator.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think, I've seen this in you. It seems like the knowledge you have around banking is far superior to a lot of other operators out there. I don't know if did that start from Dubai? Is that kind of why?
Yeah, look, lending is the same, no matter where, whether you're working in the Middle East or India or Australia, the fundamentals of lending don't change. It's character, capacity, your collateral. So those 3 C's don't change. It's just how lending is done in Australia is slightly different to how it is done in Dubai. So all of that, groundwork, I sharpened the axe in Dubai. Got exposure working for some really good bank. I worked for National Bank of Ras Al Khaimah, which is one of the biggest local banks. Then I transitioned to Barclays Bank, so got a good exposure working for an international bank. And then those experiences allowed me to bring all of that when I came to Dubai, Australia, and start all over again.
Yeah. So what was that defining moment in Dubai where you said you're coming to Australia? Like, how did that come about?
Great question. Again, one that I get asked quite frequently. While I was in Dubai, 2007, a big life event took place, which is I lost my dad to heart attack. So all of a sudden, I went from a boy with no responsibilities in his early 20s to suddenly becoming head of the house. So when that happens, you just have to man up and look after your family. So my immediate family was my mum, who's never worked in her life, and my brother, who's 7 years younger to me. So he was, in his 15, he was still in college. So that's when I actually shifted from, being a sales coordinator to being a salesperson. I took that biggest risk and became a salesperson. And then a year later, I got married to Lavinia, who I've gone to school
in Dubai
with. No, we got married in India. So
where did you meet?
We went to school together.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So in India, her family came here to Australia. In 2004, I went at the same time to Dubai. But we was in touch always. And in 2008 is when I got married. And then she moved from Australia to Dubai. So at the back of my mind, I always knew that Lavinia wanted to come back home to Australia because her family are here. But she had made the move and got married and moved to Dubai. We lived in Dubai for a good 5 years. And in 2012 is when we decided, okay, we'll make the move to Australia because Dubai was going through some uncertain times with the global financial crisis and all of the banks stopped lending. So most of the foreign banks said no more lending. They made a lot of their staff redundant. They kept a very few skeleton staff to just keep close to their customers to collect, so that customers kept paying. And I went from being a salesperson to collecting, and I wasn't enjoying that. So we made a decision to make the move. I was 30 then, so I thought I better do this now. Then it's lighter, and we made it easy by Lavinia coming in first year, living with her parents, getting a job, and I followed 6 months later. I packed up everything, and I came to Australia in 2012 of June.
No, that's awesome. So, and then when you got here, you got into lending. Obviously, you got your sub license for mortgage broking, I'm assuming.
No, my first 6 months were the hardest probably of my life in Australia. The first 6 months were the most difficult part of my whole journey. I wouldn't get a job in Australia in lending because every job that I applied to in a bank, I would not even make it to the interview with the recruiter. They would decline on the face value because I didn't have any local experience. I didn't have any connections. How am I supposed to have? I've just come to this country.
Yeah, that's right.
And somehow I had to explain that, hey, I never had any connections even in Dubai. I was a migrant who went from India to Dubai and I built it over there. I can do that again over here. But no one saw that past the resume. And so my first job, getting a job was easy, but getting the job that you wanted to do was hardest. So my first job was that of a personal lender, personal banking advisor at Westpac, Elstonwick. And I was earning $48,000 a year, taking 2 trains to get to this job because I was living with my in-laws in Cranbourne. So Cranbourne, get down South Yarra, change the train, get to Elstonwick.
Got to go all the way to South Yarra to come back.
So it was hard. There were a number of times that we thought we'll just pack up and go back because my managers in Dubai had said if things didn't work out, just come back. But we kept trying, and eventually, the break happened, and it came in the most unusual way. How I got my first job, I scored a job at working for ME Bank as a lender. So now I am, a mobile lender. So
Yeah.
I'm doing home loans,
Yeah.
and I was in my comfort zone. So, and I haven't looked back since then. So
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
2013.
Yeah. So the story goes you were renting a property from O'Brien Berwick, correct?
Yes, yes.
So tell us about that. So, because you ended up buying that property, is that what I'm led to believe?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we were renting through O'Brien Berwick. This is
Yeah.
going back 2013. O'Brien, as a business, was an upcoming challenger brand. I could say that the Berwick was the first office then. I started renting through that office, and my daughter was going to be born, and I got wind that the landlords were thinking of selling.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to move again. So I just worked with O'Brien Berwick and said
Yeah.
I would be keen to buy.
Yeah.
And 6 months later we ended up buying that house.
There you go.
So it's been, and that was the first time that I was made familiar with the O'Brien brand, and it's been a good partnership since then.
Yeah. So would you say, like, you've obviously, did you have business growth in mind when because you just said it before about O'Brien being a challenger brand? We were already envisaging that maybe I can do something with these guys.
Yeah, look, it's a great question. Again, that's always been the way I go about business.
Yep.
It's not about just that one transaction now.
No.
It's about who I can partner with, associate with, be of value, and do some work with.
Yeah.
So even though when I worked at ME Bank as a mobile lender, my brain was always working, okay, how can I build my brand? How can I build my business? So eventually when I did leave the bank and went from being a banker to broker, customers would follow me, and if people like you, trust you, they will follow you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I know you're a Tom Panel's disciple, and he does talk about connectors. You don't need to know everyone.
No.
You just need to, whether it be an O'Brien one or if you've got those 3 or 4 or 5 connectors,
Yes.
that generally spreads out from there, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not how much you know; it's who you know.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So, I look at you and, you're a family man. You, obviously, your husband, your father, your son, and your mum. You look after your mum.
Yes.
So, your values? You're very true to your values.
Yeah.
What is that? Are they kind of what kind of commitment do you have for your family?
Yeah, look, I come from an Indian background, so it's quite a cultural thing that your parents have looked after you all your life. So as they grow older, it's your responsibility to look after them. So I think since my dad passed away in 2007, it's always been mum's been my responsibility, and I have always looked after her. So I took her from India to Dubai. She was with me all throughout in Dubai. Then we came here to Australia. Eventually, I managed to get her over here, and now she's here with us. Again, those values are what make what I am today. And again, there are similarities. I mean, if you say the O'Brien brand, they're family values, they're family people. I've been married to Lavinia for 17 years now, blessed with 2 beautiful kids,
beautiful family,
and God's been great, and I think it's just associating with the right people, and doing the right thing when no one's watching.
Yeah, that's right. I think too, like what I know of you when it comes to customer service, because unfortunately what you do, they're not always good messages you have to deliver to customers and clients.
Yes.
You have a real knack in being able to deliver those messages with care. Because it's not easy, because when you get into that zone where it's black and white, this is what the bank's saying. Like, how have you you've definitely honed that. How have you done that?
Look, over a period of years, when you've been doing lending for so long, you get better at it.
Yeah.
And I think it's about, educating the client and telling them, hey, it's potentially not a deal right now.
Yeah.
It will be a deal if you do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And giving them the pathway, then saying a blunt no.
Yeah. So you are very good at that too. But it's how you position it, isn't it?
So it's about understanding the customer's situation, working with, okay, how can we help this customer right now at this very moment? And sometimes the answer is no, and it's about going back to the customers quickly not prolonging it and giving them hope, but quickly going back to them with transparency and saying, hey, right now it does not work, but if you do these three things, it will be a deal, and we'll be more than happy to support you through that journey.
Yeah, that's really good. In terms of your career, and obviously it's evolved and it keeps evolving, and we'll talk about where you're at today in a bit, but you've obviously come here doing the personal lending, working at Westpac. What was that transition from that Westpac and the 2 trains and all that, getting over to loan market, and then ultimately opening up Blank? So what did that kind of trajectory look like for you?
Yeah, it was a good. So from banking to broking, it was a 5-year journey. So a lot of
nothing happens overnight.
No, a lot of people look at it, and I've personally reflected on this. A lot of people look at it and say, "Oh, great success story," and it looks like it's happened, fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But I left home in 2004. We're in 2025. It's been 20 years in the making.
Yeah, of course it has. Yeah.
And in Australia, the first 5 years was all about getting my head around how Australia works, how the customers over here operate, how to go about understanding the business over here. So the first 5 years, I was just mastering my craft of lending and building my network, and also settling myself in this beautiful country, because we're first generation migrants. So I didn't have anyone to support me over here. I came here with just a lot of hopes and dreams and one suitcase. We built it up from there. So in the early years, it was about securing a job, understanding how things work over here, building a name for yourself, and then obviously life happens. So kids are born. My son was born 2014, daughter born 2015, bought a house, got my mom here. So once all those personal commitments were over, but all throughout those 5 years, in my head, I knew I wanted to be a broker. So I was working towards it every single day. So when the time came 2017, I had done all of my qualification education for becoming a broker. And when Lavinia went back to part-time work, we put 12 months of cash reserves aside. And I said, now I can go and do something that I want to do. And that was when I started my business under the loan market franchise in 2017, March of 2017. And 3 years I operated. So I've been self-employed since 2017. And, we rebranded to Blank in 2020.
Yeah, definitely. And that was a bold move too. I mean, you had the might of the White family behind you, and you had won every award under the sun. But you're very humble about that. The awards, whilst they're good, they don't mean that it's not why you do what you do. I can see that.
Yeah, look, the awards are great validation of the work that I do, and with the support of my team. But they're irrelevant if I can't delight my customers and not create those outcomes every single day. So I think rebranding in 2020 was a good decision.
It was bold though, wasn't it? Like, I'm sure did you have those moments where you do you ever doubt it at all? It's just like, what am I doing? Like, I'm leaving this big White family machine.
No, I think I was clear. There's always going to be doubts, and like anyone else, I've also had doubts. But you hedge your bets, and I could see that I wasn't relying on anybody else to give me those opportunities. And those opportunities were coming because I was building them, and that's when I decided I'll back myself and build a brand that I can call that I've built it from ground up. And that's when I shifted the focus from being Bernard Desmond and created a brand called Blank.
That's it. Yeah, and it's been going great, and I think talk to me about you're 2017 or 2020. You're at loan market, right?
Yeah, loan market.
So you're hustling for business in 2020, aren't you? You don't, you're not getting, there's no inbound calls, right?
No, you're still hustling every day. I mean,
So what about that transition? So, you're prospecting, you're hustling, you're in that kind of go-go mode of mortgage broking. How has that kind of shifted to 2025? How much hustling are you doing now versus, you know, oh, this person's going to call you, Bernard, I've referred you over here, I've done this, I've done that. Like, are you finding now it's more, you know, your percentage of inbound is much greater of inquiry?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think you still have to do the prospecting.
Yeah.
And I've been a strong believer that as mortgage brokers, we're in the business of prospecting loans, not processing loans. So, you know, it is a daily part of my job
Yeah.
to get in front of new people who could, you know, potentially refer us business. But
Yeah.
it is certainly much better and more structured right now than when I started in the beginning.
Yeah, I think the back end of your business seems, from my experiences in the last few transactions, it's very streamlined now.
Yeah.
Like you're able to be with the people.
Yeah, so we've trialed and errored that a number of times, and I think we're at a position where, you know, it allows me to have more meaningful conversations with clients front end. So for me, prospecting is about getting in front of more, not so much about getting in front of more customers, but people who can be connectors to those customers.
Yeah.
So I would be keen to meet more principals and agents who are doing 50, 20,
Correct.
100 transactions
Which is back
a
to
year.
that connector, isn't it?
Correct.
Rather than meeting 50 people,
Correct.
I can meet one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I can, you know, be a good extension of Andrew's business, and Andrew's a principal of an O'Brien franchise, and he's selling 50 to 100 homes, he's going to be in touch with, you know, at least 500-600 people, you know,
that's right.
minimum.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
if he can, you know, recommend my name, you know, that to me is more stronger.
Definitely. We know how many buyers and real estate agents he meets every week, don't we?
Yeah.
So it's a lot. Let's just pivot quickly. So the consumer, interest rates last week didn't move.
Yeah.
You know, cost of living still up 60%. You know, borrowing capacity still down probably 30%.
Yeah.
What are you seeing out there at the moment? And are there things people continually kind of don't get right when they work with you? Are there things that you can help consumers, you know, prepare for getting ready for loans? Is there anything that kind of stands out that, you know, you can share?
Yeah, look, interest rates are like Melbourne weather.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to keep changing,
It's like-
you know, whether, you know, it's down or up.
Yeah.
I think when anyone's looking at buying their first home or an investment, as long as they have provisioned for, you know, changes, whether that's increasing rates or decreasing rates, you know, if they've done their own due diligence, they should be making the move, because property is a long-term game.
Yeah.
You can't buy today and keep looking at it every month, looking, you know, what's happening. So,
No, yeah, that's right, yeah.
So I think my view on property is, and it's only done good for me personally and every single client that I've seen.
Yeah.
If you're in it for the right reasons and you have appropriate buffers in place, it will only do good.
Yeah.
I mean, in Australia, like, you know, in the 13 years that I've seen, it's only gone one way, which is up.
Yeah.
You know, they're not making it many. I mean, there's this demand of, you know, customers wanting more, and there are fewer houses. So I think borrowers just need to be responsible and make an informed decision on what they can afford.
Yeah.
Just because the bank's giving you $1 million, don't go and take it today. Just know that, you know, hey, rates could change, and that $5,000 repayment could very quickly become 7,000. So if you can manage those finances and make buffers, I think you should be right.
Yeah, definitely. Any other advice for the consumer, just in terms of, because obviously I think, you know, pre-approval is very important, because it just gives you options, doesn't it? You know what you're working with. But
yeah, for consumers, I think it's a great opportunity to leverage the services of someone like a accredited licensed mortgage broker. It's a no-brainer, Andrew.
Yeah.
It is free. The consumer does not have to pay anything.
Yeah.
You know, and a good mortgage broker will guide them through the whole process.
Yeah.
So you might be a first-home buyer who's never bought before, but a good broker has seen every single scenario under the sun.
Yeah.
You know, so they can prepare you and take literally the friction away from the transaction. And the friction could be in various ways. It could be from the time you getting approved for a loan. That's one part of the person. How do you go and actually negotiate and win a property? Who do you need to have around you? A conveyancer, building and pairs. So there's so many moving parts in buying a home. So I think consumers need to arm themselves with a good team around them, who can then help them make that transaction of buying a home seamless. And it does not cost them anything.
No, definitely. And I'll tell you, I mean, getting a lot of my experiences with you, like you profile these banks. You can actually say, no, this bank's big on this.
Yes.
This bank, so let's go with this one and see how we go because of these reasons. Like you've actually, it's intelligence that you have that, it's profiling banks.
I mean, look, as a mortgage broker now, I've been doing this in Australia for 13 years. And every bank wants to approve the loan. There is not a single bank who said, oh, we want to decline your loan. They're not in the business of declining loans. But if you go to the wrong bank with the wrong lending policies and processes, then you're going to get declined.
That's right.
So there is a lender for every single borrower. It's about understanding who's going to be the right lender for your unique scenario.
And I think that's the advice that you can count on.
That's the valuable advice that consumers can count on when they're dealing with someone like us as a mortgage broker.
Definitely. Couple more things. I think let's talk about the future. We spoke about connectors in business, and obviously you're on an exciting trajectory with O'Brien Real Estate. Tell us a little bit about that and how you've got to this point, because obviously renting a property off O'Brien Real Estate in Berwick all those years ago, and now look where you're at with this partnership. Tell us a bit about this partnership.
Look, very exciting time of career for myself and Blank. And I think we're humbled to be in partnership with O'Brien Real Estate. It's an exciting journey. Like I can see exactly the same synergies, and I can visualize it, how far O'Brien's come over the last 10 plus years in becoming one of Australia's and Victoria's fastest growing real estate agencies, an award-winning business. Blank is on the same trajectory because we will be leveraging each other's support network. I can learn from what's worked for the O'Brien network, and we can incorporate that into our own growth strategy. So super excited about this opportunity, and I think it's one that's I'm the most excited about for the future. Yeah,
definitely. And you've been at a lot of our conferences, and I think at the end of the day, the benefit or the service to the consumer is certainly going to be the best it's ever been.
Yeah, and look, I mean, talking about the partnership again, like anything else, things don't happen overnight. It's been 13 plus years in the making, which has
that's right.
now formally got the formal stamp, and we're really excited about this partnership in the year ahead.
No, fantastic.
And I think together we're going to do some amazing things.
Yeah, I agree. Couple of final things. So in terms of your personal or professional goals over the next 12 to 24 months, what does that look like for you?
I think in the last 1 year, health has been a big focus for me, because you're running 1 million miles as a business owner, so you need to be in the best place, fit and alert. So personal goals, is to be the fittest that I've been. I've been off alcohol completely for the last 10 months. It's probably been the first time in my life I've done something like that. So
amazing,
I'm really enjoying this journey, and I really want to be present and enjoy the growth, because I think it's going to be a good, what's got me here is not going to get me to the next stage. And I think I'm mentally getting ready for that growth that is we're going to embark on.
Fantastic. Well, it's all very exciting, and I know O'Brien's looking forward to working with you and Blank and the partnership. A couple of fun rapid fire questions here to finish off. Coffee order?
Black, long black.
Long black. Morning or night owl?
Night out.
Night owl?
Always.
Favourite spot? You are a Peninsula local. What's your favourite spot down here?
Favourite spot? You mean Food
could be,
or
just anything. Could be food, could be a beach, it could be a winery, or you probably got a few.
A few come to mind, but Point Leo winery, pretty good,
nice.
good spot, quiet.
Yeah, that is nice town.
Quite like the architecture over there. So
Yeah, beautiful.
Pretty good.
All right, we'll go with that.
Alba, another good spot in new kid on the town. So
Yeah, nice.
if you like your spa, and Alba's one to check out.
Yeah, definitely. Best book or podcast you've listened to or read lately?
Best book or podcast?
Podcast, yeah. Besides this one.
Book, I've just finished reading Aussie John. It's a story about John Simons, who built Aussie.
Yeah.
Pretty fascinating book.
Yeah.
And it's quite an easy read.
Yeah.
So
Definitely
just finished that.
He's been a fierce business person out there, hasn't he?
Yeah. And podcast, look, I've been listening to a lot. I think the CEO's Diary has been one that I've been consuming a lot lately. Yeah.
Well, the most recent one on World War III was a bit depressing, I've got to say, but I think I've stopped listening to that one. What about what's your go-to way to unwind? Now, I know you're a tennis player. I know you love your tennis. Is that your unwind? What else do you do?
Tennis is definitely something that I enjoy to unwind, but just not doing anything. I think I'm
family.
I'm a homebody, so if I'm not working, I just want to be around the kids, sit and watch TV. Love watching the block. So
of course,
enjoying
time with family. Yeah. If you weren't CEO of Blank Financial, what would you be doing?
I think I was made for this.
Yeah.
So
good answer.
I think I can't think of anything else. I was born to do this.
Very good. That's what I would have thought you would have said. But final question: how would your team describe you in one word?
Depends on. I think taskmaster. Like attention to detail.
Yeah.
Like I look for attention to detail,
which you have to have in writing lines, don't you?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I think there's been a really good conversation, Bernard, and I really appreciate you coming on the show. So, Bernard, thank you very much for being a guest today.
Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it, and it's a privilege to be on your show.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
That's good stuff.
Awesome. Done. Very good. Thank you, mate.
Yeah.
All done.
Good, man. It's good to... It's interesting. When you start talking, you look at how far you've come.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Definitely. Should I do this outro on it as well? Or? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay.
I didn't even think in my wildest dreams I would be
doing what you're doing. That's why this latest partnership thing, like once we get all the marketing and the collateral for that, and you're on the websites and all the office websites, it's massive, mate.
Yeah.
Massive. I'll just quickly do this. Thanks for joining us on the episode of The People Behind Property, proudly brought to you by O'Brien Real Estate. Bernard's journey reminds us all that leadership starts with service and that a strong connection to community gives our work real meaning. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and check out more stories on the incredible people behind our industry. Until next time, keep building, keep serving, and keep discovering the people behind property.